Germany and Kenya have signed a migration agreement here in Berlin. The deal was overseen by Kenyan President William Ruto and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. It means workers from Kenya will be allowed to fill job vacancies here in Germany, such as for bus drivers. The agreement also allows Germany to deport Kenyans who do not have the right to stay in the country. Here's more now from the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz.
The agreement opens up prospects for Kenyans because skilled workers or young people can come to Germany for training. This can help us compensate for the blatant shortage of skilled workers, the initial effects of which we are now feeling and which will be with us for years and decades to come.
We have team coverage on this story tonight. I'm joined now by DW political correspondent Hans Brandt, who's outside the Chancellery here in Berlin, where the Chancellor and the President have been meeting. And DW correspondent Felix Maringa joins us from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Hans, let me start with you. Tell us more about what Germany gets out of this deal.
Most important for Germany is that trained personnel from Kenya will more easily come to Germany and take up positions here, enter the German labor market. That is because the German population is an aging one, and there are much fewer young people from Germany itself entering the labor market. So this is a way of finding staff from across the world, basically in this case from Kenya, to keep the German economy going. And then the second part, of course, is not getting people from Kenya into Germany, but getting people from Kenya out of Germany. That is this possibility, facilitating the deportation of Kenyans who are illegally in Germany.
And Felix, what's in this for Kenya? How does Kenya benefit?
Kenyans will benefit, of course, obvious thing being jobs. A lot of Kenyan young people, 67% of them do not have jobs. So the first thing will be them getting jobs in Germany. The second thing will be they will be able to have long stay visas to either do their skill study or vocational training, which will enable them be fit for the German market. Thirdly, there will be skills development with a curriculum shared between Germany and Kenya, and that will help fill the skills gap. And lastly, for the Kenyans who will be coming to Germany, they will get ease in access to German language, and they'll also be certified, and that will also be done for their families when it comes to the time for them being reunited.
And Hans, let me pick up on the idea of deportations here. Part of this agreement allows Germany to repatriate rejected Kenyan asylum seekers, even though Kenya is not one of the main countries of origin of asylum seekers here in Germany. So what's the point?
Yes, there's only about 800 Kenyans that are to be deported from Germany. But the point is really a political signal that the German government is sending through this to German voters. Here in Germany, there's a very, very heated debate been going on most recently, but even for months, about irregular migration into the country. Tens of thousands of people pushing to get into Germany, mainly from countries such as Syria and Afghanistan. And the opposition parties have been making a lot of political mileage out of that. So Chancellor Kohl and his government are trying to present such an agreement as a way of controlling migration into the country, so that the benefits of migration into the country, importing skills into the country, can be maintained while still controlling the number of people that are illegally or are not wanted in the country. They're setting up such agreements one by one, kind of piece by piece, to establish a legal framework that will control migration in a more precise manner. And that is the offering, as it were, to the German voters, that they should not vote for right-wing parties, for instance.
DW's Hans Brandt here in Berlin and Felix Maringa in Nairobi. To both of you, thank you. Well, some critics fear that this migration deal could contribute to a brain drain or a loss of badly needed skilled workers from Kenya. DW's Mario Mueller met with a young doctor in Nairobi to hear about those concerns.
As a child, Harry Otieno witnessed doctors save his younger brother's life in their remote Kenyan village. That's when he knew he wanted to become a doctor himself. But after 7 years of study and racking up more than 21,000 euros in student debt, his dream still seems far beyond his reach. Reports of unemployed medical graduates are causing him concern in the final stages of his training, and he hasn't been paid for months.
Sometimes your mind goes blank, because now you ask yourself, what next? If they can't pay you during internship training, what guarantees you that somebody can actually pay you post-internship?
The statistics suggest there are no guarantees. 4,000 doctors in Kenya are currently jobless or underemployed, although their service is urgently needed. The doctors' union says there's a dire shortage of specialists, and patients have to wait months for surgery. According to the Health Ministry, 9 out of 10 health facilities are unable to provide basic outpatient services.
We should actually create more job opportunities for our young doctors here within the country, because we need doctors more. Remember, we are very short of the WHO recommendations for the doctor-to-patient ratio. We are at 1 to 17,000, yet the WHO recommends that for every 1,000 citizens in every country, we should actually have a doctor.
Medical workers attribute much of the problem to mismanagement and also corruption. Otieno has heard of medical graduates having to pay up to 1,200 euros to get a job in a hospital, and others who had to have sex with recruiters as a condition of being hired. The overall situation has prompted many doctors and other medical workers to leave Kenya.
You know, there's a lot of brain drain, especially in our field. It's not just limited to doctors, it's also majorly affects our nurses. We still have so many patients in our wards with very few doctors seeing them. You see, you also, as a doctor, yes, you can stay, for the love of your country and all that, but are you going to be alive after 30 years or after 40 years? I think you'd have worked yourself to death, literally.
Like other doctors in training, Otieno is now also considering going abroad to work. One option is Germany, which is now offering opportunities to young, well-educated Kenyans like him.
I would like to give back to the community that raised me, so that's why I'd rather work here. But you see, the circumstances or the conditions are not really healthy or not really palatable to many of us. So I feel like if I get an opportunity, let's say in Germany, of course I would go and serve the people there.
Otieno heard he'd most likely serve the German people as a nurse or caregiver for the elderly, because those are the jobs Germany is most desperate to fill. A long way off his childhood dream, but Otieno can imagine doing it for a few years to earn money and extra qualifications. After that, he wants to return to Kenya and finally start saving lives in villages like the one he grew up in.